Hey everybody, it's Kendrick from Providence Tarot coming to you with your first week of February weeklies of 2020. So the card that came up for everybody is actually a card that isn't typically considered a significator. It's the Page of Cups, and this is a direct reflection of the Ace of Cups, okay? So this is talking about a change in the process of how you are coping with things emotionally. It's also talking about moderation, okay, and what might be ideal for you and what actually might be necessary in order for you to cope or deal with your emotional changes. This is also sort of seeing a situation in a different kind of way, right? It's kind of like you've moved forward from that old part of yourself or that old self which identified with an old emotional attachment. You've outgrown this emotional attachment, and now you're realizing how you can apply what you've learned from the past traumas that you might have experienced. Maybe there's a phase of your life that might be coming to a close. Also, it's also just kind of like reminding you to remember what's actually important. Also, your emotions are a way for you to, connect with parts of yourself that are kind of unreachable. It's about the subconscious and learning how to deal with all of the different changes and the flows that happen around you, the things that happen to you as well. Everything does happen for a reason, and it's meant to teach you something about yourself so that you can grow and you can mature. That's why the pages are all related to Earth, Saturn. They're ruled by Saturn and the world. This card sort of makes you aware and announces where you might have been emotionally complacent, correct? And it also sort of alerts you to the ways that you have allowed yourself to be, or the habits that you have cultivated that have put you in this place, right? You've gotten comfortable. Now it's time for you to shake things up, realize what it is that you need to see, because this could even be just your intuition picking up, right? This could be like a need to express some part of yourself, and you're realizing what you're going to have to do to express this part of yourself, right? And you want to achieve something with this. You want to get from one reality into the next. Hi everybody, it's Kendrick from Providence Tarot coming to you with your first week of February messages. The World came up for everyone. It actually fell out of the deck as I was shuffling it. The World is Saturn energy, the energy of completion, right? The energy of the multiplicity that comes from completion, right? It is a 3 because it's 21 and that reduces to a 3. So it's referring back to the Empress, which is talking about a gestation period, a period of growth that you are experiencing right now, that you have experienced. And if you haven't fully gotten through it, you're definitely experiencing getting through it now. There's a lot of transmuting of energy, a lot of changing of phases, right? Maturing out of things, coming to a deeper understanding of what was meant to happen, right? Or what you learned, really, coming to a greater understanding of that. We are in Aquarius season, and Aquarius's ancient ruler is Saturn, okay? And also the third house, which is, a 3, because the 21 reduces to a 3, is talking about the information, right? Understanding what we have learned, applying what we have learned, right? We have sort of been guided through these steps that we've needed to take in order to understand something in its greater capacity, right? So we have graduated out of one phase into another. We might be feeling more mature. We might be needing to let go of old ways of thinking, old patterns, old habitual natures, and also just kind of like the things that we feed ourselves, the information, what we take in, eating, all of that stuff, being better with our bodies, all of it. The world also teaches you that you can't go back to the old ways. You know, all of the work that you did, you would never undo that, right? This is gracefully getting through it, right? Feeling the sense of pleasure that comes from knowing that you have gotten through something that tested you a great deal. Time is definitely at play here, you know. You guys some of you might have experienced a long cycle that was drawn out over years, and you finally feel like you have gotten out of that energy, or you have completed some cycle or some phase, or there's some level of growth, maturity that you're experiencing, right? The quality of life is important to you. Things matter, and they mean something differently than they did before because you know more. Aries, your card for the first week of February is the Nine of Pentacles. This is Venus in Virgo. Venus is debilitated in Virgo, but this Venus in Virgo energy is talking about not needing anyone else to provide for you. This is being self-sufficient and also being self-reliant. This is being sort of discriminating, right, against those things that don't suit you, that aren't in line with who you are or what your goals are. You know, if it's not on your trajectory and it's not a part of your path, then you don't necessarily want to have anything to do with it. You know, only what's necessary for you. It is talking about, you know, wisdom that you have gained, right, about yourself and what's going to bring you pleasure in life. You know, it is Virgo, so it's talking about forming healthy habits, right? The habitual nature. This is going inward and determining what you need, right? What you have evolved out of and evolved into, okay? Some of you might even be thinking about pets, right? Because pets are definitely related to that energy of Venus and Virgo. It's bringing love to something that gives you something back, right? Very easily, very simply put, right? The nines are talking about goal-oriented things, so you could be, you know, you could have a desire to make more money or to achieve more, because the nines are talking about achievements, right? Going in and understanding what it is that you can provide to yourself, or going in and understanding what was already there to begin with. You know what I mean? You yourself are wealthy. This is also a card of getting to that point of feeling like you have it all, right? You've just got to be careful, because with this card, distancing yourself so much could actually become your reality. You might find yourself alone, or you might find yourself indulging in your own solitude so much that you look around and no one else is there. Or your focus could be so much, your goals could be so much focused on, you know, materialism or materialistic things that you forget what's really important. And you also forget to take time to enjoy the beauty in life as well. Look around you, stop and smell the roses, and don't only be so focused on what it is that you can get out of an experience. You know, look around and see what is there at your disposal that you can enjoy without having to go the extra mile or having to do all the things, right? Just to feel good about yourself. Taurus, your card for the first week of February is the Moon in Taurus, which is actually your card, and it's an exalted position. So the Moon is uplifted and it's dignified in Taurus. The Moon has a need for security, and Taurus likes security. What's being provided to you? How are you treating your body? How are you treating your finances? How are you treating anything that requires you putting a healthy, consistent practice towards, right? It's kind of like what you put into something is what you will get out of it. The amount of interest, the amount of thought that you put into something, you know, you will see that return, right? How well of a job you do, it will be reflected back to you, okay? I need you to understand. The sixes are also just talking about your health as well. Your financial health, your spiritual health, because it's a six talking about Mercury, your mind, right? You may have a lot of things weighing heavily on your mind right now that might even be making you feel slightly insecure. You might be feeling like you really need to plan some things. You might be feeling a little bit anxious, right? Or just a little bit more sensitive as well, right? You might even be needing to communicate what it is that you need, right? You might need this from someone else, right? It could be money that somebody borrowed from you, or it could be, you know, just you giving your time and your energy to something, you know, in order to help someone out. The Six of Pentacles also talks about what I have, I can also provide. What I have, I can also share. You know, this is not a card of selfishness. It's not a card of stubbornness either, right? Because the moon is talking about initiative, initiating things, right? And the sixes are talking about being able to maneuver and being able to adapt and to change and to shift, right? And it's talking about the beauty that that your pleasure actually can provide to other people, you know? It's like, I can show you the way to be happy. I can show you the way to have better finances. I can actually point you in the right direction to sort of be helpful for you, right? I can help you, you can help me, we can help each other. We have a great thing going here. Gemini, your card for the first week of February is the Hierophant, and this is Taurus, okay? And Taurus is your 12th house. So you could be ignoring something. There could be something that's a blockage for you. It could have to do with a Taurus, or it could even be with a Leo, because Leo is the 5th house. This is talking about your belief systems, you know, what you might be allowing to go on, right? It also talks about, you know, the challenges and the severity in life, right? Those things that we experience in our existence, right? Growing up, you know, and those things being challenged. It's like everything that you knew is being challenged, right? What are you learning from these challenges that you might be faced with, you know? It's kind of like you can be told what to believe, right? You definitely can be told what to believe and what it might be true. But you also have to decipher what your truth is, right? Or how you might be feeling about something, or how you connect with something, how you align with something spiritually. Do I believe in that too? Or am I just going along with something because it's what I've been told to believe? You know? It also talks about that conflict that, you know, arises out of cliques and groups of people, family, right? There could be some conflicts that might be happening with family. This could even be talking about like aunts and uncles, that type of situation, or the parents, right? The parents could be of significant influence here. You're trying to figure something out. You're trying to understanding the meaning behind something, Gemini, as well. You know, this is talking about your inner ear. Taurus rules the throat, you know. So it could also be that you might just be feeling, you know, stuck, because this is a fixed card. You might be feeling like stuck in a place that you want to get out of, right? A commitment, perhaps. It could be a relationship. It could even be a job, right? You might be wondering if a job is right for you, right? Or if you've made the right commitment. Yeah, because you might be faced with some challenges within this commitment that you have attached yourself to, that you have aligned yourself to. You may even be outgrowing something, right? Because the moon does change. It does go through these evolutions, right? You might even be dealing with a Taurus, okay? Because Taurus got the Six of Pentacles, which is the moon in Taurus exalted, right? The Hierophant is talking about knowing what your truth is and what you believe and going with that. Cancer, your card for the first week of February is the moon, and this is your ruling planet. This is number 18, right? And that reduces to a 9. So it's talking about going inward and discovering something. This is a card of journeying, right? Of things being revealed over time. It's a card of cleansing. It's a card of hidden secrets as well, right? You might be cleaning yourself of some energy that, might be from your past, You could be feeling some kind of way about an experience that you might have gone through, right? You could be remembering some of that. And the moon is also talking about cycles that come to a completion, right? So you might just be feeling like you've outgrown something, or you've grown out of a cycle, right? Definitely talking about being on your path, correct? There's a full moon coming up in about 5 days on February 8th, and it's going to be in Leo, and that is the sign that comes right after you. So that's in your second house of earned income, right? And the moon definitely does talk about security, okay? And understanding what you're going to need to do to gain security, right? Understanding what you're going to have to adapt to, right? The moon changes signs every 2.5 days, so it definitely experiences a lot of adapting, right? It's also related to that energy of Pisces. So you could be feeling very spiritual, very intuitive right now, Cancer. You might be into the occult arts, right? You might be doing some magic right now, getting ready for this full moon that's coming up. You could even be feeling over emotional about something. Definitely could have to do with friendship, because the full moon is going to be in Leo, and Leo is talking about friendship. It's talking about romance. It's talking about creativity too. So Cancer, you might even be needing to be a little bit more creative. Tap into that creative nature that is innate to you, okay? And the things that you might be fearful of, or the things that might be getting some sort of emotion, that might have an emotional hold on you, or you might be bringing too much emotional focus to needs to be expressed outwardly, right? Just like this crab is coming out of the water, being expressed outwardly, It's sort of like done with the waiting or the gestation. It's now time to have something really come into form, right? From this new understanding that you have based on this experience that you've gone through and learned so much from. Leo, this is your card for the first week of February. The Queen of Rods. So this is Aries. It could also even be you, because you said you share similar planets with Aries. You share the sun, which is your ruling planet. It's exalted in Aries. Pluto is also a co-ruling planet of Aries in some astrologers' eyes. I believe in that. Pluto is also exalted in Leo. So this is talking about transformation. It's talking about power. It's talking about will. And it's talking about how you are going to strategize your will. What you want, what you would like to see happen, and also what it is that you would like to become, how you would like to be seen, what you would like to do with this new energy that you are trying to harness, or that you are trying to direct or funnel. The Queen of Rods is a little bit of Pisces, right? Because she's 1/3 of the sign that comes before her. So there's a little bit of magic here. Intention, visualization, right? Imaginative. I feel like you're feeling very Neptunian. You would like to express yourself through creative action. Yes? And you might even be feeling a little bit restless or a little bit anxious. Okay? In terms of like what you might be doing, or how you might be doing something, or if you are doing something, or if something is happening that you would like to see happening now. Right? You might even be fed up with something. Okay? The Queen of Rods is definitely related to the Three of Wands, so it's kind of like you're waiting for something to come back to you, right? You're waiting for something to be satisfied. There definitely is a desire for something more ideal, right? Something more idyllic. Yes? It's almost kind of like I deserve something more. And I feel like you're going to put something into action. You're going to go towards something. You're going to go for something. You want to feel like yourself again. You want to feel more alive, right? You want to realign yourself with the energy that is innate to you. I would definitely say start working with the colors yellow and red, right? Some browns to ground yourself as well, so that you are working from a place of consistency, right? And you're not just doing and working off of this fire energy, right? The queens are also water, right? So there is a need that you have to nurture some part of yourself through this action. I would suggest that you do it. Be creative. Get it going, Leo. Thanks. Virgo, your card for the first week of February is the King of Swords. This is double air because all of the kings are air, okay, and the element of their suit. The kings are also related to the number 4 card of the Emperor Major Arcana, okay? So he rules the 4s, and the 4 of Swords is talking about, you know, transforming your thought process, allowing that to change, going into a gestation period, right? Trying to see what your new ideals are founded on. What are the principles, right? You might even be making some demands, right? You might be communicating some demands, right? Some things that you want, some ideas that you would like to, bounce around, right? That type of thing. Also, this is you being very focused, laser focused, right? Being very diligent, okay? Being very mature in your thought process and your perspective, you know. You're not going to be delusional. You're not going to be so imaginative that it seems like you're being unreal, right? Realistic goals, right? It is talking about goals as well. You have your sights set on something, you know. And it also is talking about, you know, focusing on you, maybe not putting so much of your energy and your time into others, right? Because this isn't a card of individuality, being that it is fixed air and it is Aquarius. Aquarius talking about the individual nature and the individual experience and what makes you special. And it's talking about knowing what makes you special, right? Being that it's Aquarius, it's also 1/3 of the sign that comes before it, which is Capricorn. And Capricorn definitely wants something. It wants to build. It wants to expand. It wants to grow, right? And Aquarius is talking about the big picture. So I feel like you might be focused on the big picture here. Yeah? The ruling planet of the King of Swords is Saturn. Saturn also rules Capricorn. So you could be reshaping your idea of what it is that you thought you wanted to build or to make or to create. You know, this is also talking about changes that happen in a process. So a process may have come to a completion, or it's come to a stage of you understanding what it's meant to show you, right? What you're meant to do with it. Libra, you might even be dealing with a Virgo, or you might be dealing with Virgo energy, because this is your card for the first week of February. It's the 4 of Swords, related to the Emperor, and it's also related to the King of Swords, right? This is Jupiter in Libra, our sign, okay? So this is you bringing the focus back to you, right? It's a 4, so it's related to that energy of the Emperor, that energy of transformation, or that energy of power that Pluto sort of brings, right? But being that it's Jupiter, it's talking about gaining perspective, okay? And it's also talking about gaining, you know, focus, right? Refocusing, recalibrating your mind, you know. This is a period of waiting or understanding who you are, right? Who you have become. You know, we experience so much energy from all of the things around us that we have to pull away from it, right? And the fours are also talking about isolation, right? Being the Emperor, right? Being the Four of Cups, Cancer Moon, right? The 13 card, not being a four, it reduces to that, okay? And that is the Death card, Scorpio energy, right? So it is talking about, you know, what you might be, it's talking about conflict and resolution too, right? So you might have been experiencing some sort of like conflict with friends, right? Or conflict within the home in terms of like ideas or just the ways that people might do things or might think or might be communicating in harsh ways. You don't like the conflict, right? The fours are talking about conflict and resolution, so the way to resolve a conflict is to not be in it, right? It's almost kind of like, how can anybody fight you if you're not fighting them? Okay? Is it a battle? And whose battle is it to win? If I'm not fighting you, then you're not fighting me. Right? And that's a way to control. And the fours are talking about control. You know? Falling back. You know? Gaining the control. Right? So you're gaining back control. You're taking back control. Right? I feel like that's a good thing. You're thinking more like an emperor would, right? That type of energy. You're thinking about your power and how to channel it, how to use it, take it back, taking back your energy, keeping it to yourself. Scorpio, I'm so blown away by how all of the signs have been getting cards that are directly related to them, right? The only ones that haven't gotten a card that's related to them are Aries and Gemini. But anyway, the Death card, you might be dealing with a Libra, Scorpio. You could be dealing with an Aries. You could be dealing with a Cancer, right? This is talking about fear. This is talking about weakness. This is talking about obsessing over your fears, right? Which is in turn making you feel weaker. Yes. This is, you know, Pluto and Mars energy. And, you know, this is just talking about the inevitable, right? The inevitable ending of something. Also, this is a very clairvoyant card. It's related to the 4th house of Cancer, which is talking about the ability to pick up on signs, right? Nonverbal signs, intuitive cues, right? This is also saying that you might have felt like something was approaching, or you might have felt like something was coming to an end, right? It definitely is talking about cutting things, yes, and giving in to the completion of something. It's conflict and resolution, right? So the only way for you to resolve this conflict is to give in to something that is more powerful than you. It's showing you that you're going to have to, you know, make a sacrifice, right? A sacrifice is definitely going to have to be made here. And then once this happens, once you make this sacrifice and you allow yourself to surrender to something that was actually that you were going to have to surrender to anyway at some point, then you will be free from that which was controlling you emotionally, right? Whatever this thing is that's changing for you, it's changing your reality, right? Because it's a force, so it's changing your foundation, okay? But it's going to resolve something for you because it's going to wipe the slate clean and you'll be able to start over again in a different way. It's kind of like giving you another chance too, right? Definitely giving you another chance to sort of like, change your reality into something else that you probably desired as well, that you didn't have before. Sagittarius, this is your card for the first week of February. Something paid off for you, right? Mars is talking about, you know, the energy, the passion, and the aggression that you put into something, right, that you had, that you believed in, right, that you felt compassionate towards, right? It's like gained compassion, right? It's the growth of a feeling for you. This could even be something that you might be feeling satisfied and fulfilled with. Your career is fulfilling you in some kind of way, right? Making you feel so good. The tens are also talking about the kingdom, right? The completion of this idea, right? Of something that could be fulfilling and satisfy you. Okay? What are you giving into, right? It's like you're making the choice to give into something. This 10 is talking about your emotional awareness, right? And how your emotional awareness has grown for something, right? So now it's time to do something about that. Now that you've learned how you feel or how someone else feels, right? Or now that you have learned what something means to you, you know, it's almost like you are filled with this emotion, right? Your capacity is kind of like overflowing. This is a positive card. It's related to the Wheel of Fortune, which is talking about expansions, right? So this could be like your career is expanding and it's making you feel great. Or this could be a relationship, right? Something that you want to go towards, that you want to put energy and time and effort into, right? Willingly, okay? But you want to give back to something. This is a card of love and happiness, right? It's a card of coming together, right? Mars being in Pisces is kind of like opening it up to something that it didn't see before. So I feel like now you see something that you weren't able to see before and you appreciate it, you know? You might even be feeling like you're getting your just due. You know, there's some beauty here, right? You're leaving one reality and going into the next, right? And it's a reality that you wanted to see. You had kind of like hoped for. You were imagining this. This is an ideal situation for you too. So you feel kind of lucky, right? Right? You're the lucky one. That's what you feel like. Also, it's with job. It's more job opportunities, more career, more professional things coming your way. Good luck, Sag. You always have it. Capricorn, your card for the first week of February is the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords is talking about changes in the way that you think, or changes in the way that you communicate, or changes in the way that you are going to, channel your energy, right? Or channel your thoughts, you know? This could be the beginning of you could be writing something, right? Some of you could have gotten a journal, or you could be writing things down. You could be studying something that is of importance to you, right? This is also kind of like feeling very energetic in the mind, very spirited in the mind, right? You know, you're excited about a new perspective, or the change that, or the new perspective that a change brings, right? It's about applying the information that you have received as well so that you can exercise it in a meaningful way. The Page of Swords definitely has something to say. It's opinionated. She is opinionated. And this could just be making an announcement about a child. Some of you could be pregnant, maybe making an announcement like in that way. Okay? Some of you could be announcing that you're going to move from one place and go to the next, right? This is also a card of strategy. You might be changing your strategy, okay? And you're just sort of like adapting to that, right? Being optimistic about it, being a little bit more playful and a little bit more flexible, right? So you're learning how to be more flexible, definitely. And that's really great for you, Capricorn. I feel like it's going to be to your benefit, you know? You're sort of like ready and poised for this different energy. This also talks about knowing how prepared to be, right? Planning the process in a thoughtful way, you know? Try to not be all over the place with this planning or with this studying, right? Or with this putting together of something, you know? The swords are also talking about what you might be detaching from, right? So you may have learned that you have to sort of like be in your own space in order to achieve something or in order to be more productive, right? You may have had to cut out some old habits, right? Or you're looking towards just like a new way of doing things, you know, new applied information, right? Whatever it is, you're applying yourself in a way that that's going to work out in your favor. Okay? Just stay focused. Aquarius, your card for the first week of February is the Eight of Swords. This card is talking about interference, but then it's also talking about the overexposure to other people's opinions or their thoughts. You're letting it get the best of you, right? The power of your mind is controlling you, or the obsessive thoughts in your mind are controlling you. Your ability to see things clearly, your ability to connect to things in a meaningful way, you know? It's sort of like making you feel fearful, right? You're second-guessing yourself as well, you know? You shouldn't be doing that. This 8 is related to the Strength card, which is talking about, you know, the Strength card says, be gentle. Be gentle with yourself, you know? This Jupiter and Gemini energy, it's kind of like it's a little bit too overwhelming, right? Jupiter is gigantic and Mercury is small. So you could be feeling overwhelmed. The information that you might be receiving might be a lot for you, right? Because the 8s are talking about ups and downs, and it's also talking about, you know, too much of something. Not having too much or too little, just the right amount. You know what I mean? So don't take everyone's opinions with a grain of salt, right? Just because somebody says something doesn't make it true, you know? It's kind of like you might even be ignoring something too. So you could be getting in your own way, right? Just because the confidence level might be being fucked with, right? I need you to believe in yourself and not let this overpower you. Whatever this intimate relationship is. You know, this is kind of like mind control. So somebody could be communicating with you in a way where they're trying to get you in a position where you are vulnerable or you are weakened, right? Don't let this get the best of you. You know what I mean? It's easy to see. You can see past it. You know what's going on, right? Because the 8s are clairvoyant. It's the 8th house of hidden things, right? You could just be hiding from yourself. And that's why you're allowing this to occur. Stop. Don't let this control you. Don't let people tell you what to believe or tell you how to do things. Don't let people, you know, manipulate you emotionally by what they're saying to you because they know it's going to trigger or affect you, right? It's going to go straight to your head. You've got to step out of this energy of feeling controlled by the opinion or the thoughts of someone else. Pisces, your card for the first week of February is the Ace of Rods. And this is a card of great change. And it's also an opportunity for growth in some area. You know, it is what you do with it. You know, it's kind of like the universe is coming in and waving its hand at you and sparking this new way of doing things, you know. It's a direct reflection of the Page of Wands, right? So you could be feeling very spirited about something. You could be feeling like you want to get more involved, right? You're trying to get someone's attention as well because the aces do kind of get your attention. And it's kind of like telling you what you need to probably do, or you might be trying to figure out what the next step is to move forward with something or a plan of action. You know, it's talking about first, so something could be in the first stage or being in the beginning stage of something. This is talking about the power of the will, you know, what you want to do, also how you act or how you take action, right? This is not a card of reluctancy, right? This is a card of really taking a risk and being ambitious, right? Taking the initiative and also kind of like being first, right? So the sooner the better with something. With this Ace of Rods, definitely. It's a reduction from the Ten of Wands, right? Ten of Rods, which is talking about, oppression and a lot of responsibilities, right? So you might have just kind of like gotten done with a project or gotten done with something that was very, that you might felt a lot of obligations towards, right? You may have had a lot of responsibilities or just been doing a lot of things all at once. This is saying that you're bringing focus back, right? If you were all over the place or you felt like you had a lot of duties or a lot of responsibilities, it's like you want to narrow that down. You want to narrow down all of the things that you have to be involved with or you have to be doing. It could have to do with career. It could have to do with you, yourself, your body. Some changes, right? Feeling, excited and encouraged by these changes or by this opportunity that you see for this new beginning, or you're seeing something turn over, right? The way that you wanted it to, right? Because the aces want something and they get what they want, really. It's presented to you, right? And it's that feeling, it's that understanding that getting something that you want or seeing something that you want in front of you, right? Potential. You're seeing potential in something. It's good. Okay, everybody. So this is the card that was at the bottom of the deck for the week for everyone. The card that was above, that fell out for us, the flipper, the jumper, was the World, right? Which is a 3. This is the 8 of Cups. This is Saturn and Pisces, and this is talking about loss, right? This is also talking about, things from the past and understanding that you don't have the power to control the past. You don't. So sometimes you just have to be willing to sacrifice or be willing to submit to the feeling that the past triggers up for you. You don't want to constantly be reminded of those things that got you in this place that you're in, right? It's about moving on. It's about, making the sacrifice and submitting to something and not bringing too much attention or focus or obsession to that which you're giving up. Right? You're giving up something so that you can get something. It's talking about going out of one reality and into the next. So you could have been working on something for a long period of time, and now that thing is no longer serving you, or you are realizing that it's time to move on. A karmic cycle has completed. This 8 is also talking about not trying to force something to continue to be the way that it always has been. Because everything is meant to change, shift, and evolve, right? Grow, mature, okay? Erode, decay, right? Evaporate, right? We're talking about, being able to have the opportunity to live again in the same life. Do something else, This is Pisces, so it's talking about, adapting to changes, adapting to shifts, adapting to karmic cycles that might be changing. And it's 11:11 right now as I'm about to finish doing this reading. Well, it's 11:10, but by the time I'm done doing this, it's going to be 11:11. So those are angel numbers, and it's supporting you, it's supporting us, saying that, yes, there is a time, there is a season, and there is a reason, okay? So you have to just listen to your instinct, right, because it's an 8. Listen to your gut feeling, your intuition. Your subconscious is telling you something, right? And it's kind of like not going against the flow of your destiny. You know what I mean? You're not meant to stay stuck in one place for the rest of your life. You have to be willing to move on, to adapt, to change, to shift, right? So that you can experience all the many different facets of who you are, right? One thing leads to the next, which leads to the next, and leads to the next.